Greetings duelists and welcome to another video. This is deck report week number 2. Uh, yeah, second week of season 3, which is the second week since the new September Forbidden Limited list. Uh, I'll keep having these deck reports numbered until the next list arrives. So I piloted Ritual Beast again. This is the first deck report on the new mat. This mat we won it from the World Championships celebration event. Uh, so yeah, uh, there's nothing new. The list is pretty much the same as always. I'm just gonna skim through the list. However, there are things I kind of want to talk about. A few of the matchups that I faced, how I feel about the new format. Because this is my first event with the new format in mind with this list, and things I might be changing into the future. I won't be playing Ritual Beast forever. I will very soon move to other decks. But one thing to talk about is that Ritual Beast has been performing super well for me as of late. I've been seeing people like with the regional lists. And they're pretty much almost the same. Like I've seen 80 to 90% of lists being the same for Ritual Beast, which means this deck is almost pretty much solved. The only thing that is unsolved with this deck are all the combos. I feel like there are still new combos to be discovered with this deck, even though we've already figured out a few combos to play around certain hand traps, play around stuff like Nibiru, for example. But yeah, I'll just go through my list and then I'll talk about stuff that I just found interesting. Um, the 12 names, this is pretty much standard. 5 other names, 17 total. 3 Nemesis. This is no longer the Wills list, so 3 Shifter. 3 Inheritance, 3 Teleport, triple Eclipse, triple Talents, triple Imperm, Steed's Ambush. Extra, Anima, double Pokemon Falcos, IP, Rabbit, SP, Radiari, no Kudragos, Conahawks, Ulti, Ulti Apelio, Ulti Kai Apelio, Colossus, and Banshee. Pretty much standard, the same thing you've always been seeing. Bestials, Drolls, Ash Blossoms, Coldbay, Duster, Storms, triple Evenly, and the statue. Okay, stuff to talk about. So the matchups that I faced this week. I went undefeated at my locals. So the deck actually performed well. So the matchups that I had. Round 1 was Memento. Game 1, they... I don't remember if they bricked, but they opened a little bit subpar, and I kind of just went and skimmed through the board. Game 2, I drolled them, and even though droll isn't particularly strong against Memento, if Memento opens fairly weak hands, then droll is actually effective against them. And that's what happened. Shout outs to Seta, he's from the EJ Gaming team. Round 2, I faced Tempai Dragons. Yeah, trying to remember the matchups. So I faced Tempai Dragons round 2. Game 1, I went first. I summoned Colossus, and I opened Shifter. He did open droplets, but since we were under Dimension Shifter, he cannot get rid of the Colossus, which just pretty much shut down the entire deck. Uh, Game two, he almost OTK'd me, but he did misplay, and he walked right into Barrier Statue. I mean, not Barrier Statue, Azurun Statue. And Azurun Statue is really strong against Tenpai Dragons. So, yeah, this card put in work. Uh, and I gotta say this card is matchup specific, but I will keep it in the side deck because I don't want to open with this card if it conflicts with Shifter and other cards. Also, I don't want to draw this card going second ever, except some very specific matchups. So, yeah, this was effective against my Tenpai opponent. So that was 2-0. Round 3, I faced. I tried to remember. Round 1 was Memento. Round 2 was Tenpai Dragons. Round 3 was. Yeah, I tried to remember round 3. Was it Sprite? I don't think it was Sprite. Was it Jubel? No. I will remember it eventually. Um, Once I do, I will post it in the comment section. I know my round 4. My round 4 was Flounderies. And honestly, the flu matchup is not hard with this deck. However, it is a little tricky because this deck does normal summon a lot. And Flu has cards that just punish you for normal summoning, like the Magnificent Map. Also, your League monsters are shut down under M-Pen, so that's something else to take note of. But my opponent went first. He opened Shifter and he activated Shifter. And yeah, surprise, surprise, my deck is a Shifter deck, so I really didn't have to worry about that. One card that really, really was good against the matchup was Book of Eclipse. This card was very, very helpful against them. So yeah, that pretty much helped a lot. So yeah, those were my 3.5 matchups of the day. Not a super sizable locals. I think it was around 20 players. So we just had those rounds. Cards to talk about. So I think people are catching on to Eclipse now. This card is a staple in Ritual Beast, but now there are other people that are trying to play it in other decks. I think this card is really, really good right now. Like, especially since Appaloosa is gone, like most monster interruptions that we are looking into in the game now are not Link monsters. So just having a card that just shuts down those monster interruptions are really good. Going first is a really strong defensive card, which is one of the main reasons I play it. I've won a lot of games just by going first, setting this card. My opponent thinking it's like an imperm, like because people do know I run imperm in my deck, so people just think it's imperm. They just play into it, and then there's a Book of Eclipse that just sets 3 to 4 monsters, and they just have to like pass their turn. Yes, they do get like 4 draws out of it, but like if you get to play the game and you get to establish your board, you can OTK them. You can play through those hand traps. This deck is already good against hand traps, so you shouldn't be afraid to just set multiple monsters with Book if you know it's just going to end the turn for them. But yeah. Yeah, I think I remember what was my other round. I think it was Kashtira. Yeah, I think it was pure Kashtira, and I won 2-0. And yeah, Eclipse did win one game for me. Another card that I think is very important in this format, I might even move it to the main deck now. It's Called by the Grave. Yeah, like I think Cold Grave is really really strong right now. It doesn't necessarily just have to be hand traps. Like there are specific matchups that just fall to this card. Uh, the perfect example is Phantom of Yubel. Like if somebody tries to resolve Phantom Jubel, you can just do call by and just shuts it down entirely. Against other Jubel cards like Spirit of Jubel, this card also shuts it down. Against like the Snake Eye deck, the decks are the M boards are a little bit more fragile now, and they do rely on Promethean Fire Priestess as one of their interruptions. So just shutting that down with this card also helps. Not many lists are playing more than one Promethean Princess anyway, so this will get rid of the only copy. Um, this is all without even mentioning how popular hand traps are at the moment. Uh, Board breakers are a little bit more powerful now than hand traps. However, hand traps are still being relevant. They're still being played. Um, this deck isn't like super weak to draw, but it is kind of awkward if you have certain hands and you walk right into the draw. So just having another card to pair with the three talents, I think is just good enough. Uh, I I have seen lists that are not playing talents at all. They're playing stuff like Ash Blossom, Nibiru to just pair with the Imperms, and I see people that are maining draw as well. Uh, my problem is, as long as this card exists, I am not going to walk into this card. So if I can avoid walking into this card, I will. I'd rather play Dominus Purge before playing a monster hand trap in the main deck. Because Talents is just way too powerful of a card. I've have lost games before just because my opponent resolved Talents. And it's kind of brutal when that happens. So, yeah. Uh, I'm sticking to this, like, I'm just sticking to these as my non-engine for now. Like, I don't think we need anything else. Um, Obviously, we are playing the shifters, so I think I'm fine with these 12 for now. I don't think we need anything else. The deck is pretty much solved, like I said earlier. So the only thing that should be interchangeable are these cards and nothing else. That being said, I will probably main deck the Cold by. Um, Maybe I'll drop like the ambush, although ambush it has been working out for me. Um, Outside of that, there's not much can think of. I don't mind playing 41 with just a cold buy as well, so that is another option. I have been doing very well with this deck post ban list. Uh, I have not bricked enough with this deck at all, so I think the consistency cards are working. I think playing at 40 was working. Um, but yeah, um, that's it. That's pretty much what I have to say about these cards. Um, there are not many things else to add. Like, I think some of these cards are just mandatory. Um, I might play Mul Sharmi again. I have not resolved this card at all in the past couple weeks, so I don't know if I'll need this. Same thing goes with Lightning Storm. I don't know if I'll need Lightning Storm. I just want to be safe against like those background matchups. I did face like the Kashtira matchup. Um, oh, actually, now I remember. I think it was Visa's. It was the Visa Scareclaw deck with the Fiendsmith cards. That's what I faced. Now I remember. Charles to Glenn. Um, yeah, I don't know if I'll need these cards. Um, like, I really think I'm fine with these. I kind of want to play a second Doris Worm. That is another thing I kind of want to incorporate. Um, Yeah, I think that's it. That's this. This is deck report week 2. Uh, Again, I will showcase more decks in the channel. I am waiting for the megatins to arrive because some needed reprints are in there for other decks that I want to play. And once that is done, I'll probably incorporate more decks and I'll do more deck reports with set decks. Um, but yeah, that's it from me. Uh, Hope you found this informative to your liking and understanding. Keep practicing and keep dueling.